men would hump a concrete wall. Like we would not. We just don't. It's not like that's not where the war is being fought. You know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of armpit fucking in prison.
Wait, for real?
Yeah. A lot of consensual armpit sex.
That's just good old-fashioned human ingenuity.
Yeah.
That's so much less invasive.
The inventions I made when I was 12 years old. We've talked about that. Boy, oh boy. So glad those days are over.
Now you can use like real inventions, like that you can buy online, things like that.
Yeah, I kind of want to make sure my back stays somewhat out of whack because I don't wanna, now that I'm regaining my memory and bursting into tears, I'm worried that I might they might adjust something and then I'll be like, oh.
Wow. I almost said cliffhanger and end of the show.
I just remember being 12 years old and like not being able to get through an episode of Inspector Gadget, like just let alone Mork and Mindy, let alone anything. Like I just like everything was like on fire, and it was like not a place to get a lot of work done.
Yeah.
Girls were like that too, like. Well, I was, at least. I was like crazy. Like, my whole family was like that. Like, as soon as we went into puberty, I was like, what is happening? Like, oh my gosh, boobs and craziness and all that stuff. But it's just girls don't, like you said, girls don't like to talk about it as much. But we definitely are the same way.
I know a lot of women, like friends of mine that I grew up with and friends I've met later that like started masturbating 100 years before I did. Like, before
I
guys
did like second grade.
But is it?
I know, insane, right?
Second grade?
Yeah, dude.
It happens earlier for girls.
Yeah, it's weird because we mature faster.
There's also a lot of accidental masturbating.
You don't need like.
No, okay, second grade.
There's no such thing as accidental masturbation.
Let me tell you, Jeff.
I'm gonna fuck your armpit so hard tonight.
He's doing it right now.
Also, girls do that.
Here we go. I'm gonna.
We started talking about this.
This next sentence brought to you by Pina Colada.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a politically correct thing to say that girls do this or do that.
Just let it rip, Dan.
I've had a lot of girlfriends. I've had a lot of conversations and I've noticed that girls have a lot of early memories of they practice with each other. They go they like not.
No. I see.
Sorry, Emily farted again.
They practice kissing and stuff.
Oh yeah, no. Yes, of course.
Guys don't do that much, but I've famously told that story of me being like 8 years old next to my buddy Ramsack, like humping a couch pillow. We're high fiving each other. We're like,
girls did it too. Yeah, like
I love the
pillow,
fact
like
his name
this
is
feels good. What's going
Dave
on?
Ramstack. That's the great. If you're gonna make out with your first guy, that's the guy.
It was Dan Ramstack. I don't know what his lawyer's name is, but. But he's probably watching. But
that's why I used the wrong name.
He was a great dry humper. He really let that pillow have it. But I mean, obviously the most important thing that people are always so shocked to learn is that if everybody's a little snowflake and it's all so incredibly different. It makes us comfortable to make observations like girls do this and guys do this by age 11 and by age 13 and girls do that. It was like, but like every conversation you have, it's like second grade and then someone goes, but Jeff lost his virginity at like 32 or whatever. Like you were a late bloomer.
24.
And
I was too. I was 22.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the masturbating and the coming and the.
As we're talking about this, I never really thought about this. Like when I came to your house and you had that consolidated folder of redheads from Playboy magazines to save space, and I was like, wow, you sure like your redheads. And you're like, oh shit, I never really thought about that. And they go, oh my, yes, I do. I'm looking back like. I don't know about for young girls, certainly not in second grade. Like for little boys, we find the Sears catalog or the anything that has a picture of a woman like with any measure of clothing on or none or whatever, or a face. Like it's a visual thing for me anyway. And I remember the most potent visual image that I saved this picture it was Nadia Comaneci, the gymnast, like the gold medalist. Anatoly, was she Russian? Where was Nadia Comaneci from? Romania. I don't know why.
Anatoly's like, why the fuck do you always... Again with this fucking shit. I don't know. Fuck you guys. Fucking...
But she had all of her clothes on, but she had short hair. And then later on, it's like Sid Charisse, Audrey Hepburn, Mia Farrow. Like, I don't know what it was, but it was like my first moments of having like sexual visual like turn-ons was always like thin, never va-va-voom, never like super curvy, like little wafy like girls with short hair and like that. Why is that? It's so strange.
Well, why do men like long hair traditionally? We've all heard the joke, or maybe not joke explanation of like, yeah, it's like cavemen like want to handle or something that's like looks like you're more controllable. but I think it's like the way cats like focus on things that move, like women wear earrings and stuff that like think when shit's moving around. Like I think over time maybe that's like a thing that triggers men to like be fascinated. Like they're like just dogs or cats. They're just like you're shaking your head.
Brittle, and
got
it.
it.
Takes to have long hair, you have to be like young and fit.
If you can't hear in the back, I'm sure that's absolutely true because I just realized because we talked about makeup on the show and it's like makeup is like she said because it's young it's young girls have longer hair and as women get older their hair gets more brittle and unmanageable and they tend to go with the shorter stuff, and so yeah, everything is sort of all of our standards for female beauty are somehow rooted in puberty. Are somehow rooted at like rouge is just flushed cheeks and lipstick is flushed lips, and it's all basically you spend your life chasing this image of the most inappropriate thing in the world, which is a cusping biological female specimen.
All right, Spencer, I'm going to ask you the impossible right now.
Okay.
But I know that you're up to the task because you are a genius and a showman.
Okay.
Let's do the world's only one-liner shadow run where like we set it up.
Well, I don't want to know but that, but I was pretty content once we could have skipped Shadowrun. But yeah.
I
figured once I got to be 10:05, I was like,
it's kind of paths.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was like, we're on a roll. We're talking about icky stuff.
All right.
Icky stuff.
Yeah. Sex is icky.
Doesn't have to be, man.
How many ounces?
George, how old were you when you? When you had your first experience with your
I was 5, and I went to the school on the bus.
See?
But
It starts early.
here's
It's
what
not that
happened.
weird.
There was a kid on the bus who was older. He had just had. I went to this amazing school when I was a kid, and for his birthday, I think he was 10 or 11, 12 maybe. His parents had given him a subscription to Playboy for his birthday. So this kid, I had never seen this before, and the kid had a thing. He wasn't bringing it for show and tell, but it was just he had it, and he was bringing it to the school, and it was wrapped in paper, and he took it out, and he showed it to us, and I was like, what the hell is that? And we just went through it, and he explained the whole concept to me, and that's sort of what it was. And then later that week, I think, at dinner, my parents asked me about school. And then they asked me about my, the every day at dinner and stuff. And they asked me, like, your birthday's coming up, what do you want? And I asked for a subscription to Playboy. My parents, in very measured fashion, were like, a what? And I said, subscription to Playboy. And they said, do you even know what that is? And I went through it, so clearly I knew. And they said, how did you? And so I told them the story I just told you. And they said, all right, well, we'll see what we can do. And then in my head, I think, just being my age now and imagining that them being their age at that time, they, for whatever reason, had to have waited until I left the room and just high-five each other.
and then because
it's all right.
Just to save a little bit of money, they gave you a subscription to Muff Diver.
Sherry or Cherry. What was it? I don't know.
OUI.
Some knockoff. Like they're like, we can't afford that.
Morgan Fairchild's on the cover
Aaron texted in
every
because she must be watching as we're talking to this area because you remember the episode where we did Labyrinth and she was talking about Labyrinth, but she's real like. That movie was like her. She was describing like being in the theater with her parents, watching Labyrinth, and at a certain point in that movie, like her physically like awakening, like her cheeks flushing, and like her nethers tingling, and like I call them the nethers because it's like appropriately mythical. Yeah, Minecraft. You go to the nether. There's like but she that was like she can remember the actual like moment of like, oh my god, my body, and it does like literally happen overnight, like literally overnight, like puberty happens.
A friend of mine, Samantha, she was like 11 or 12, went to a Prince concert, and she's told me, she's like, I was standing there watching Prince on stage, and she goes, and I had an orgasm. I wasn't touching myself, I just stood there, and she's like, I didn't know what was happening, but later on, I would come to understand, it's like, that was the first time I came, but just by standing there watching this dude run around.
I definitely know I was watching Mork and Mindy. I was watching Pam Dauber, and I was like, I think I could have been watching anything because it was really more about like, I was like I would lay supine, is that what it's called? It's on your stomach. And I was like laying after school alone in my mom's apartment, and like, and I was just like watching Mork and Mindy, and it was just going like this, and I was like, and then I was just like kept doing it, and I was like, what the, oh my god. And nothing.
Get your GIFs ready, everybody. Get those GIFs ready.
and nothing. I looked to see if anything had, because I was like, is that what I think that was? That nothing had happened, but it felt like something that you would want to do forever. So
Yep.
So and then from that moment until around 39, I pretty much was just like dedicated to making that feeling happen over and over again. And because I remember like that very week, or like within a few days, it was like I'm just gonna keep doing this over and over again. And I remember being really excited that nothing was. I'm getting really graphic, but like, oh, let's stay safe and stop now. I remember being really stoked that nothing was coming out, because I thought I was like cheating the system, because I was like, I wasn't touching myself, which I had already had like shame loaded into my mind about, like that one day I was going to start touching myself, and that was, my mom would say like, it's going to be a natural thing. And it was like, ugh, like I don't want to think about my mom giving me permission to touch myself. And so I was like, I didn't touch myself. I just humped a pillow and thought about Pam Dauber. And then I had this amazing feeling. I'm like, I'm the king of the world. Like, and I would just like run home from school as fast as I could. All my friends would be like, don't you want to stay and talk about LL Cool J? No, I gotta go. Man, he's so dedicated to his schoolwork now. And I would just like lock the door, and just like, yeah! And then slowly but surely, I remember just like starting with like one little drop coming out. I just remember like every successive like little.
Tonight on a very special Harmontown.
Just a tip.
But and I'm telling you, for those 11-year-olds listening, it's all downhill from there. Just keep doing that, and like don't involve other people. We have 8 billion too many. And just
doing that.
Just eat cookies and
eat cookies and just
watch Morgan.
Yeah.